we're now going to model the base. So we're going to start another new standard millimeter.ipt. Going to do a sketch on the XY plane. And we know this is 100mm square, so you could use the rectangle, you could use the line. Just to show you a different way, I'm going to use polygon, but I'm going to do 4. So I've got 4 sides, which of course is a square. I'm going to draw it askew like this, just so I can then show you this, vertical, and then put 1 dimension on. And we've got ourselves our part. And it's defaulted to 10mm, which is actually what we want. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do it mid-plane because in a minute when we assemble it, I would like the bottom of the base and also the XY plane to be on the bottom of the whole assembly. So when we do the render, we can use that as, say, a ground plane to cast a shadow and that sort of thing. So I'm going to leave the thickness at 10mm. I'm going to hit OK, and whilst we're here, I'm going to change the physical properties. Eye properties, physical, and then this one is wood. So I'm going to use an oak. I'm going to apply that and hit close. So we've got this here now, okay. We've got 2 holes that run through the base here, so I'm just going to do a sketch on this plane, and I'm going to use the point like we normally do for holes. I'm going to horizontally align those 2, first of all to each other, and then to the midpoint here. And we've got the dimensions for these all from this end here, so I'm going to add these 2. So 42. I'm going to hit H for the hole tool, and you can see it's picked up both of those centres for us, and we've actually got a counter bore hole here. So I'm going to start putting in these details. So we've got a 3mm hole that goes, which is already defaulted to. It's not through all. It does have a distance, and that distance is 70mm. And there's actually a counter bore of 5mm in diameter, which is 10mm deep. Now, something that's quite important is when you look on the drawing, and this is something you'll be marked on in competitions, a mistake as small as this could cost you. These blind holes are actually flat bottomed as well, so you can see that by the plan view in the hidden details. You can see that they're actually flat bottomed, so make sure you change the selection over here before you hit OK. So you just check all of these are correct. So we've got a 5mm diameter counter bore, which is 10mm deep, and we've got a 3mm hole 70mm deep, so we've got all of that correct, and we've changed the drill point to flat. So now I'm going to hit OK. We've got our 2 holes in there, look, perfect. So I'm now going to do, there's 4 holes that are on this top face, so I'm going to do those ones next, and the first thing I'm going to do is to go do 2 more points down here, and they are horizontally aligned with each other. And I'm actually going to draw a construction line between the 2. I'm just going to change the format of that line up here to construction, because these are actually around the centre point, so I'm going to align these using the midpoint of this line and then the centre point. And the distance between those 2 is 16mm, so I'm going to add a dimension. 16mm. And then the final dimension we need to do is in the Y direction, and they're actually 15mm from this bottom face here where the 2 holes are. Again, it's very important you get the orientation right, so before I actually do these holes I'm just going to check. So yeah, I'm at the right edge, so I've got these 2 holes here before I draw these. Now there's actually 4 identical holes, so we need to do the other 2 as points, but that's how you should do it. But I'm just going to show you another way of doing it, which would be rectangular patterning this, just to show you another tool. So I'm going to put these 2 holes in, well, 2 of 4, and they're 2mm and they're 8mm deep. So we need to change it back to a simple hole, 2mm and 8mm deep. And I'm just going to check on the drawings that these aren't flat holes, so we need to again change it back to the angle, okay? Hit OK. So we've now got those 2 holes that actually penetrate into here, and that will become apparent when we do the assembly why that is. Now we could have done those 4 points, but I'm actually going to use the rectangular pattern. First thing it asks me is what do you want to pattern, so we want to pattern these 2 holes, and you need to give it direction. I'm going to give it this edge here of the base plate. You can see it's actually going in the wrong direction. That's not a problem, you can flip the direction here, and the distance between these 2 holes, we've got a 66.5mm dimension, which gives us the height from this bottom edge here, and we know that's 15mm away. So of course you don't have to do the mash yourself, the inventor can do it for you. So I've just put those in there. I'm going to hit OK, and you can now see we've got our 4 holes. Now on the underside of this plate there are another 4 holes. So I'm just going to do a sketch on there, and I'm going to do all of these using points. Okay, so then we've got one hole command. So I'm going to put all of those points down to start with using the point in our draw. So we've got 2 that are up here, and again I've drawn them out of line on purpose. I'm going to make sure they're all accurate afterwards. So these 2 are vertically aligned with each other. They're also vertically aligned with the midpoint, and then we've got the bottom 2 down here, which are horizontally aligned. And again I'm going to use a construction line. Oops. Make sure it's green so that I know it's snapping to that, and then I'm going to vertically align that with the midpoint as well into the centre point of that line. So we've now got all of these. We've got this dimension from here. And just to show you, I'm accepting this is saying it's going to be a driven dimension, and this is what you need to do. You always need to double check. So I put this dimension in here, although it's already constrained by this here. We know that this is now correct because there's this 70 dimension is given on our drawing, and the final one it needs is a direction in the Y, which is the same as the other hole, so it's 15mm. And then we're going to do these last 2. Got 54. And this final one, 79. So you can now see we're fully constrained, all our geometry is blue, and I'm going to press H for the hole tool. And these holes are 5.5mm through all, so we need to change this to through all. And they're counter bores, so through all diameter is 5.5, and the countersink is 10mm diameter, and it's actually 5mm deep, so the opposite of the ones we did earlier. And you can see the preview there it's given us, and they look about right to the drawing. So hit OK. So that's now the underside of our base. So press F6, that goes to the home view, which is from the top side. And you know, same with everything in competition, you need to double check everything. So I'm just going over the drawing, just making sure I've got all the holes. Yep, I've got all of them, so I'm happy with that. So I'm now just going to hit save, and of course, because our project has gone into the correct place in Windows Explorer, I'm going to call that base and then save it.